Republicans will never lose another election in Wisconsin after I'm elected governor.
If only there was an expression for like what you're supposed to do when they tell you who they are. Yeah, that was Tim Michels wants to be governor of Wisconsin, assuring his supporters who loved it. They just were a big fan of what he had to say, that once he is in charge, once he has executive power in the state, Republicans will never lose another election. I guess they'll just become so popular. That's probably what he means. He's not implying anything about manipulating the voting system or helping to ensure that they have judges in place who will let the Republicans do whatever they want. No, this is obviously really dark stuff. Said not on a hot mic or something like that, not on a blog post from 10 years ago. This was a guy knowing he was being videotaped, talking to his supporters, assuring them that he would make sure that democracy is a figment of the past. It's window dressing at best. It won't matter. Democrats will never win office in Wisconsin again. Tony Evers, who's running against Tim Michels, says, folks, we've known this for a while. Tim Michels is a danger to our democracy. When you head to the polls on election day, remember that we're fighting to protect our democracy, voting rights, and free, fair, and safe elections. By the way, he is talking about not ending a robust democracy in Wisconsin. He's talking about finishing it off, because let's be clear about the state of Wisconsin. It is already incredibly manipulated, biased, rigged towards the Republicans right now. In fact, as a result of the last new set of gerrymanders, the number of GOP leading seats in the state assembly has increased from 61 to 63. This is out of just 99. And from 21 to 23 out of 33 states in the state Senate. There right now, analyses show Democrats would have to win the statewide vote by 12 points just to get to 50 seats in the assembly. Republicans can garner a majority with just 44% of votes. And so Wisconsin's not alone in this. Many states have already done this. It is almost impossible for the Democrats to win, even if they win in the way that we've always thought led to you being in power in a democracy. He's talking about taking that rigged system and finishing off any possibility of Democrats getting elected at any level. JR, what do you think?
It's crazy though. We saw the January 6th committee talk about how these local electors were trying to put in place, at least the fake ones, at least even local officials in many of these states, these battleground states, were trying to tilt the election in Donald Trump's favor with fake electors and skimming the system and accusing other folks of throwing out ballots, all this stuff. When this guy says something like, if I'm elected here, I'm gonna make sure that we never lose an election again in this state, that's giving a head nod and be like, we're not gonna mess this up next time. This has nothing to do with policy, it has nothing to do with representing the people, it has nothing to do with making people's lives better. You did hear him say anything about that? Did you hear him say, we're never gonna lose another election in this state because the people will continue to vote for us because of how much we've done for them, because of how much we've represented them, because of how much their lives are better. Because when we talk about how great America is, they're gonna be experiencing it because of our policies. None of that came up. It was just, we're never gonna lose again. Could easily say something like that. Matthew Stafford, quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams, who just won a Super Bowl last year. You can go to your parade afterwards and go, we're gonna win it again next year. And the crowd goes, wow, yeah, we're gonna win it next year. That has nothing to do with what they're gonna do for you. They're just gonna win it again. It has nothing to do with anything. This is a sporting event now. When it comes to politics being like, hey, our team is gonna win no matter what does that have to do with the folks sitting there screaming? What does that have to do with you? Matthew Stafford won a Super Bowl. He's got AT&T endorsements. He's got probably Campbell's soup commercials, probably got Wheaties commercials. He made a lot of money. I'm a big Rams fan. I was very happy when they won the Super Bowl. You know how much of that money I got?
Like 5%? No,
so that's the point of me supporting him. It's just because I like my team. This is what it's come down to. You get nothing from them, but you get to support the team.
What if you didn't, there was no reason for you to want your team to win, but the only pleasure you had in your awful, awful life was the other team's losing. And you may be sitting on a bus and seeing like a fan of a different team and they're crying or something. What if that was the only joy you had in your life?
I'm glad you brought it up. I have a 10-year-old kid who's also a Rams fan. And you know who he was very happy that the Rams beat last year? The Bucks, because Tom Brady, who he dislikes, is on the Bucks. He's like, we finished off Tom Brady. He cared about making the other guy who he dislikes sad and retire.
He wants to own the Toms.
Which you can do as a sports fan because this doesn't count.
Yeah, that's
for your
true.
Life.
Yeah, and just to tweak your metaphor a bit, it's not quite like a quarterback saying we're never gonna lose a game again. It's like a ref being like, choose me as ref, and the Bucks will never lose again. Except, like it's supposed to be a democracy. But don't worry, this guy will never get into office. According to the recent polls, he's down by 0.2.
Jesus.
I don't know how we're gonna keep track of all of these on election day. We'll be doing live coverage. There are so many incredibly consequential elections that we need to keep track of. But for now, we're gonna move on. Oh, sorry, you had a last comment?
No. I'm just exhausted with this entire situation in this country.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.